Hello lovely people, my name's Andy Woolley, and in this video we're going to do a roundup of my affiliate sites in June 2022. Two sites I have. The first one obviously is within the gardening niche. As you can see here, it's made a modest improvement. The users went up from 17,000 to 18,000 from May to June. Looking at the tasks that are done there, I only managed to knock out 10 blogs, a total of 23,000 words, mainly because I found another revenue stream there, drop shipping, another contact within the UK that would allow me to provide another revenue stream on the site. So contacted them, they gave me the products, started building out the shop there. There's 20 products on there altogether, but I took the time to build out and optimize 2 of those products and ensure that a couple of the blogs were actually pointing directly to those products as well, to make sure they were better content than what was already on the internet. I'm also considering restarting my PPC campaign because the numbers when it came to the lead generation dropped down substantially. I guess that's probably a combination of the current climate, people holding a little bit back and feeling a bit hesitant in order to initiate the surveys that are required, and obviously then those leads that come in and I sell them to my contractors. So that dropped down massively to just 6 leads rather than double that which I had in May. But hey ho, every little bit adds to the overall win. I also then did speak to a new contractor and they wanted me to build out a couple of landing pages for them. So that's another arrangement that will take a few more months, but it's positive, it's moving in the right direction. And I also then started at the end of June, so I won't really see the results until next month. I also then applied for the Ezoic Pro package, paid my monies, and obviously will be interesting to see what a difference that will make when it comes to the premium ads. So obviously having this report gives me something to benchmark it against. Obviously my goals haven't shifted and I'm keeping that as it is for the moment. I'd like to be getting to 35 posts a month. I am trialing a new technique at the moment with my posts by batching them and then coming in and optimizing them later on. I'm finding that is more effective. I didn't do it on this site. I did do it on the health site, and it kind of made me get 10 blogs done in 1 week rather than over the space of a month. So I'm looking to probably initiate that a little bit more in July and see how that works out. Likewise, as I mentioned in the previous video, I am looking for content writers. So if there's anybody that does write within the gardening or the health niche, please reach out to me so I can come back to you. What I have come to realize is by looking at the sheer volume of content that needs to be created in this website, it's going to be a 2 to 3 year development period. I'm not in a rush here. I'm more after I'm building something of quality that will have value and provide me a steady income. And whether I sell it or not, I don't know is the short answer. I rather hold firm to the belief of building something of quality, and that gives me a steady income. But, you know, like everything in affiliate marketing, it might change depending on certain factors. So looking at obviously the interaction from the user's point of view from May to June, the clicks obviously went up sizably from 15,000 to 16. Impressions didn't massively change, and the click-through rate went down ever so slightly, but even at 4.3%, I'm more than happy with that. And for the average positions, that dropped down as well. I do kind of put some of that rhyme and reason down to we had a lot of appalling weather in June, and therefore being a garden one, it does really benefit from a great weather on a Saturday and Sunday, but that wasn't the case. So each weekend, you know, you're rubbing your hands looking forward to a good bit of weather because that does translate quite comfortably across the board. It didn't happen. So okay, that's not a bad thing by all accounts. It does show from the intention there, from the correlation between the clicks and the impressions, it got tighter. So that's quite comforting. And by all accounts, as much as it went down from 4.5 to 4.3, that's not a bad win by any stretch of the imagination. So looking at the monies, obviously accumulating this from day one. June, the domain authority, now that was quite interesting. Obviously we had the Google Core update, and that did massively affect a lot of sites. You can see it pushed me up from 19 to 41. Obviously Google then reassessing and settling things down, it dropped down to 20. So it means fundamentally it moved up from 19 to 20. For me, that's still a win. 41 was unrealistic, that big a jump, but it was interesting it took that sort of approach. The posts now have increased from 204 to 214. Obviously, those 10 posts adding on there. So 214, it's not a bad number. It's starting to make a reasonable income, but we've got a long way to go here. Top word count now is just over 388,000 words. Keywords increased as well, so that was comforting to see that obviously from a ranking point of view, I'm starting to get more traction, 2,200 keywords, even though that didn't really translate to a lot more in the UK traffic, just literally 5,300, but the value remained the same. So that's heartening, knowing that even though the clicks went down and the visits only went up moderately, the actual value of the site stayed pretty constant. So that's comforting at 1,600. As for Amazon, for commissions there, those totaled out at £226.36, which is comforting. I can see that slowly building. That is just reporting for the UK. I do also have one for the US and for Canada, but this site is purely focused for the UK. There's a happy spin-off to what happens in the US, but unlike most niches out there, this one is purely aimed squarely at the UK market. Looking at the rest now, obviously the visits from Ezoic, they reported 19,477. My earnings then were £167.96, so not too far different from last month. It stayed pretty consistent even though the weather was a bit more appalling. The EPMV dipped down slightly to £8.62. Highest I did see that go was actually 18, so that was quite comforting to know what the potential could be if, like now, having paid for the Ezoic Pro, premium ads go on there. It will be interesting to see, do I earn more money from that? So the total altogether was £577.11. I have converted it into British pounds, as compared to dollars, purely so that I can, let me just expand that. So basically I can correlate that more to a UK figure and see how that tallies up. Okay. Moving on to the second niche, which is obviously in the health one. This one now is up month 12, so it's a full 12 months old. Going from May to June, it went down slightly according to Google Analytics users from 1,400 to 1,300. Again, I'm not too bothered by that. It's early days yet. It's a very big site to build out here. Again, there's a development period of easily 2 to 3 years here. I wrote 14 posts on this one, which was an accumulation of just over 17,000 words. And the EPMV was quite interesting. It increased up to $10, but actually I've seen it on one instance going as high as 26. So again, spurring me on to, now buy into Ezoic Pro and see what that is as a test. That will be interesting, but likewise it'll be nice to see as more content goes on there and the quality rises, the EPMV should rise as well. I also started adding in some affiliate links across Amazon, but I've got loads of those to do this month, but I don't want to overdo it. I'm quite happy that, like that Google Core update, I concentrated heavily on the informational side as compared to the transactional, and I'm well within the sort of ratio, the 70-30, 80-20, whichever one you want to believe. So I've got a long way to go on that one, but I'm not really rushing to earn a revenue here. I'm more conscious of growing the quality on the site and the numbers. Also then, what I did come to realize quite comfortably talking to one of my nutritionists regarding this site is that there are a few other categories that I could build out. So I did a bit more research there, accumulated another 300 blog titles across those 3 new categories. And that was quite interesting because that's very much on trend at the moment. So those are the things I'm going to actually concentrate on now in the next couple of weeks. Looking at the Search Console, again, you can see here it modestly increased from 135 clicks to 159, and the impressions obviously went up. As for the click-through, that went down. Not too bothered by that, even though the average position. So it does seem a bit of a mixed bag at the moment, but with such a small visitor number, this is not really something to get hung up about at the moment. It's just there. It gives me a mind's eye. I'm moving in the right direction. And even having a 3.2% click-through rate is still a pretty decent click-through rate by any stretch of the imagination. And I can see the correlation between the two lines is a bit chaotic, but not too bad by any stretch of the imagination. Anyway, on to the last slide within this. So you can see now we're in June, exactly the same happened with the Google Core update. It went from 15 as a domain authority up to 42, but this was SEMrush reporting, so I'm not really putting too much into it. But now it's settled, it says 18. So going from 15 to 18, again, is a win in my book. It tells me I'm building quality content out there. I just need to do it at volume. The posts obviously went up from 243 to 257. So it's not far off on, obviously keeping on par with the gardening niche. So I'm trying to make sure I put love into both of them at equal measure. Word count now is 341,000. Keywords went up a little bit from 90 to 106. So again, we're just starting to scratch the surface, but it's all moving in the right direction, and that's the key ingredients. US traffic, it reported now 26, and as much as I don't trust the data from SEMrush, I'm using it as a benchmark to give me an idea of how it's building month on month and being transparent to you, the viewer, so you can see this is genuinely moving forward. That's the key takeaway. Looking at Amazon now, that made $36.77, so a little bit down from last month, but you know, again, I'm not too bothered by that. It's only scratching the surface. There are no leads on this one at the moment. That will be probably next year, to be honest. I'm not too worried about that. The other site is really taking more of my time to develop those relationships. Looking at Ezoic, again, 1800, so slightly down. The earnings, again, slightly down there, $19.25. But the EPMV, well, I was happy with that at $10.49. And as I said, one day it was as high as $26. So that's where I'm taking the win. Adding that cumulative value there was $56, obviously from the health site. So summing it up, if I combine obviously the figures from my health site, my gardening niche, and putting them in dollars, I earned $730 for June 2022, which is quite respectable. I'm quite happy with that, because compared to 12 months ago, it earned nothing like that whatsoever. So that's my roundup of my two sites at the moment. Again, if anybody is there looking to do content writing either and has experience in the gardening or the health niche, please reach out to me, leave a comment below, and I will come back to you. Again, hopefully this inspires you. If you've got any comments, reach out to me. If you want to like the videos, please do. That will always help me going forward. I am experimenting, and I think this is one of the key takeaways. It's early days about the revenue. It's not earning a fantastic revenue that's going to change lives here. It's about experimenting and walking the walk as much as talking the talk. And that's the thing I'm kind of enjoying with the affiliate marketing, is being able to see, right, if I batch write as compared to just writing a single blog, if I do smaller content compared to longer content, if I change the style I'm writing, and these are things I'm doing currently at the moment, they're giving me a mind's eye that once I get more content writers on board, I can write these SOPs, these standard operating procedures, and instruct them, this is the thing that's resonating and working. Can you amplify it and knock out X number of blogs for me in a month? So again, that's the real takeaway for me, is yes, the numbers educate me and, you know, move me in the right direction. It is clearly all moving forwards, which is great. It is earning more money, which is great, but it's knowing how to do it better. And that's the key takeaway. So that's my roundup for June 2022. Obviously, I'll keep reporting on this month in, month out. Any questions, pop it below, and I'll look forward to see you in the next video.